TV exclusive of our one-on-one, or not one-on-one, three-on-one sit-down with President Trump at Bedminster yesterday. It was wide-ranging, and he talked about what he's looking for in a VP, the state of the economy, and even reveals he plans to cut one federal department.
Ooh.
Take a look.
Let's talk about vice president. Pete and I have gone off the wall. We've talked about historically, presidents pick vice presidents based upon what states they can deliver. We've talked about the fact that you're looking for, it seems to be, that you might be looking for a fighter. Well, let's just ask you directly. What are you looking for in a vice president?
So you always have to say, and I mean it, is if something should happen to the president, you have to get somebody who can be a good president. Okay?
Right. That's right.
And then the second thing, I want somebody that can selfishly help me to get elected. But typically, if you look over the years, look back 100 years, it's almost never that a vice president helps. I mean, you're out there all by yourself. You really are. There's a day or two of, hoopla, you picked a vice president, and then it goes back. But it's almost never helped. Actually, the one person that helped, I guess you could say, is Lyndon Johnson, because he was a real political animal. And he sort of helped a little bit politically with Daley, et cetera, I guess. But, that's a theory anyway. But typically, a vice president doesn't help. So I would say somebody that you can get along with, somebody that can help you get elected, somebody that can be, and first is somebody that can be a very good president.
Debate's coming up on June 27th. How do you prepare for that? And you've stated it. Joe Biden's in a different place. What's your strategy?
Good question.
So debates are interesting because I had never debated before, and then I debated a lot on the first, in 2016, I had like 14 debates or something. And it's been good. I mean, it's been good for me. It's been worked. I think I won every debate. But I never had, it was very interesting. In 2016, I said, who are these people I'm debating? Half of them I never heard of because, they're governors from someplace or they're senators. I said, start with Ted Cruz. And they say, well, he's the national debate champion. He's the this, he's the that.
Oh.
And I said, that's not good news. That's not good. I mean, I could have done with a little bit less. Maybe I should have started with somebody else. But they were all, they're talented politicians. That's what, for the most part, they're politicians. Very interesting. In running for president, 92% were politicians and 8% were generals. Not admirals, right? Generals. And that's it. So when, all of a sudden I'm going in as a business guy and a different kind of a guy. But we had great 4 years. We were very successful. The largest tax cuts in history. Yep. We had the largest regulation cuts in history. We had the best economy in history. We rebuilt our military. We had no wars. I defeated ISIS.
But since you've been out of office, things have deteriorated. And we've talked a little bit about that.
At a level that's not even believable.
And I think most people agree with you on that.
Amount of money which turns the economy. We're $34 trillion in debt. We've printed money we don't have, that's led to massive inflation. How do you change that and turn that around to average Americans out there who are struggling every single day, worse and worse under Joe Biden's economy?
So we were doing great. We were energy independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. I didn't want the Russian pipeline to be built because of the fact, very simple, I wanted to supply them with the energy. The whole thing was we're going to make a fortune. We have more liquid gold than any country in the world, including Saudi Arabia and then we got Anwar in Alaska, which is the biggest find. It's as big as Saudi Arabia. Some people say it's bigger. And Biden closes it up in his first week. The first Department of Interior, the person in charge, closed it in her first day in office. Ronald Reagan tried to get it. He couldn't get it. Everybody tried to get it. Bush, I got it. And they closed it up, but I'm going to reinstitute it very quickly. It'll happen very fast. But think of it. So we were rocking and rolling. We were energy independent. We were soon going to be double the size. We were in third place, and even beyond that, when I took over, we were leading. You have to see a graph. Russia, Saudi Arabia above them, Russia second, we're third, and then we go like this.
See, the problem is, and like we just talked about on the video, the only issue was people could not see behind. At that time, he was doing a lot of Twittering and stuff like that, so they couldn't see behind his voice and they couldn't see behind his demeanor. So I'm gonna say, like, all the things he was doing good, they were trying to bring him down completely because he followed behind Obama. And you know how black people were for Obama.
Yeah.
And so Trump had it's a tough time because he came right in after Obama. So now if it had been like George Bush or then Trump, it would have been different. Joe Biden and then Trump, it would have been different. So now I think people can kind of see it for what it is and not have a jaded kind of experience. Right. Now you see it clearly.
Yeah.
We were going to be energy dominant. We were doing things. The way you have to solve it is through growth. And
but
we were
also
going to have
cutting,
to
right, Mr. President?
Yes, growth and cutting. The problem I had is we were starting to really rock and roll. We had the greatest economy ever, and then we got hit with COVID. And if I didn't throw money at COVID, we would have had a depression like in 1929.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if I don't win, you're going to have a depression like in 1929.
I believe it. I believe it.
too.
I believe
I'll
it.
just say Scott. One of the greatest analysts on Wall Street, considered maybe the best, he said the only reason the stock market's high is because they think Trump is going to win.
Listen, I think that one of your strongest points is that you're a businessman, and people love that you ran this country like a business. And I believe that if you got in office, you will get the oil pipes going again, we'll get energy going, and I believe that we will grow. But it's really hard when you're a politician to cut. Your friend Milei in Argentina, he cut whole agencies, and now they went from 25% growth per month in inflation down to 8% per month. So it works. Are you willing to
you know he's MAGA. You know that.
I know he is. He's my friend. That's why I brought it up.
No,
But
he's my biggest fan.
He's a great
Make
guy.
Argentina great again. It works out perfectly. No, that's what he calls. He says he has hats. Make Argentina great again.
Wow.
He has, but he's cut agencies. Are you willing to make those kinds of dramatic cuts? Because I really think we have young kids, all of us. I think their futures are on the line. I mean, as he said, $34 trillion in debt. I think that means we're paying almost $1 trillion in interest.
I'll give you an example.
Is it every month?
I'll give you. You mentioned
every year.
Yeah, you mentioned the kids. So we're going to cut the Department of Education, let it be run locally. We have this
end the
mess.
Department of Education?
End
Whoa.
it, other than to
Whoa, that's
one
huge.
of the. That's one of the.
That's what Vivek was talking about too.
That's one of the things that the Republicans are for is to. They didn't even want a Department of Education, and I really would love to see how this model is, and how it's lined up, and to see maybe now there can be some shift and some learning and more funding used appropriately that's going into these schools, especially to help with Title I schools, kids that are, Let's go. I'm really curious. I got to read up on that now. Come on, what you talking about, Trump?
have a little tiny coordination. It would be nice to make sure that everybody's teaching English.
Yeah.
Let them learn English, okay?
I love this.
But no, we're cutting the Department of Education. I was ready to do it before, and then again, the COVID really. If we didn't throw money at that, you would have had a depression. We would have been in a depression. And when I got out, the stock market was higher than when just before COVID came in.
So that will be the first thing. That will be the first department.
Oh, it's going to happen. That's
cut.
going to happen immediately.
I love it.
We're going to
Said immediately.
There's so many things you can do. One of the things that's so bad for us is the environmental agencies. They make it impossible to do anything. And so in Louisiana, they had these massive refineries, that LNG plants, but massive, essentially refineries. 14, 15 years they've been trying to get permits. I got it done in one day. One day I got the permit. Don't tell anybody, please. I got it. I didn't know who the hell was doing it. In one case, Japan was putting, and by the way, they're like 20 billion.
See, that's what I love about him. The stuff that sit there and they're gonna get it done. They're trying to get it done. Trying to get done. He might walk in. Okay, sign it. It's done. That's it. That's over, right? Okay, we done. That's how you know it be so much BS in politics, bro. That's just like, that reminds me, that gives me an example of like when you go to you getting some car work done, and then this one shop said, oh yeah, it's gonna take this time, but then you go to a whole nother shop, oh yeah, we're doing it in 2 days. Like, well, why you need all that time? Why delay for what?
Because the wrong man is doing the job.
Exactly.
And that was a massive. These are like the Empire State Building laid down ×2 on its side. All pipes. I mean, it's unbelievable on the coast in Louisiana. And I got those things. The first one I got done in like 24 hours. They worked on it for 14 years. And it was terrible. I mean, what they were doing. The environmental agencies have stopped doing. They stop you from doing business in this country. and we did a great job.
Okay, so
Man, I cannot wait to get him in office,
Wow.
bro. I cannot wait. I'm excited. I'm ready
yep,
for him to
it's
get in
time.
office.
It's time. It is so time. It is so time.
And people out here saying, "Well, we just want a democracy." No, people
It's time
that's
for
still going for the
change.
left that want democracy. You only want one or two things that affect you personally. Whereas on the conservative side, it's like, we need all this to have a stable economy, stable mentally and physically. So
Yeah, and
I cannot wait for him to get in office.
Yeah, because it's going to affect you. Well,
Yes.
and it's been said. Well, no, some of the things that he's done hasn't really affected you. Oh, but it has. But it has.
Yeah, it has.
But it has.
Like the housing market, I personally think that this is not a fact. I feel like the housing market is going to tank because it's going too high. Like it wasn't just going up gradually. It skyrocketed up
I heard
quicker
that on
than
somebody's podcast.
quicker than people are making enough money. You got some people that are making great money, and most of the economy is making an average increase. But then you got the housing that's skyrocketing. So eventually, I feel like the housing market is going to tank because of all that spending that was pushed out through the Biden administration. So now it's got to crash. It's got to go into some debt, and then people can start affording and start living island again. It might not go back to like it was 5 years ago, but it's going to be better than what it is now. The interest rates were crazy. So we need change. You need some stuff to change, and we need to be focused on our energy. It's a lot involved when it comes to our oil in the ground. It don't just come out the ground into the car. But imagine we keep using our own resources. We need to stay within our own. I'm not an economist. I don't know all that go behind it, but I like to think logically on what will work and what don't work, just like for my household.
So he also mentioned on there about VP, but he didn't say.
Of course
he
not.
didn't give a
Yeah.
name, but he did state the fact that he was a business person.
I still
And-
think Vivek, man.
I
I don't know.
mean,
It just keep
I do
coming to
too.
even though it be
I
some
do too.
little hints of this person, that person, this person, just feel like it's going to be a slide in Vivek surprise.
I hope so. You don't think you think DeSantis is?
He going to be on the team. A lot of these people going to be on the team, but I don't know. I just think
Ooh,
Vivek going to slide in Vivek, man.
Transformers!
Just going to slide in Vivek on there because
And,
he
okay.
wants somebody who's going to really have his. I think DeSantis would be too, but nobody have his back like a debate. You can have your Nikki Haley's, but as far as more power and finances,
What's the senator of South Carolina or the congresswoman in South Carolina?
That's
I
what
just
I'm talking
watched
about.
her.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the congresswoman in South Carolina. I said, okay. Well, after I listened to her, I said, I gotta go. I went to follow her.
I'm sorry. Not Nikki Haley. I'm Carrie Lakes.
Okay, not Carrie Lake. That's Arizona, but it's another. No, she's high on my list too. But it's
But-
another senator that when I saw her clip, and she's from South Carolina. I can't remember her name, but she is a bad girl. She called out your boy's son
Yeah, she the ones that got on them and
in
say,
front
we're
of
not
everybody. I was like, oh, she's like, you ought to be in jail right now, bro. I don't even understand why they still got you out. I'm like, what? I don't even know why you still free. I'm like, okay, this my type of girl.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a power cabinet. I'm telling you, you run Vivek on there, then you have DeSantis in there, you have non-rhino people in there, and then you go ahead and make this thing boom. And I really believe, and I truly believe that we can have an economy. I want our economy to be like Florida. I want the U.S. to be like Florida, to be honest with you. I want that kind of economy for the United States. So
Does people know that there was a time when all of the U.S. was mostly red? Like the whole U.S.?
No, they don't.
I think it was on PragerU that I saw it on one of their videos, and they were giving some history, or maybe another guy. It may not be PragerU. It may have been another guy who does who's like a historian, but he's really big on, kind of like an expert in the area of history and the political side and all that. And he showed a map during this period of time where the U.S. map was all red, like maybe like one or two states.
Do you think that the blue came from when they start pandering to more African American people and people of color? Do you think that's when it converted, start going to the blue?
The New Deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the New
I
Deal.
definitely want to go back and check it out to see, because I was like, well, how do we get back to that?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, I bet you the statistics regards to our country strength wise was even more, it was even more fortified than what it is right now. Excuse me.
Absolutely. All right, man. 2024. Be more.
Talk less.
We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
All right.